Joining us right now from the FII conference in Saudi Arabia is Helima Croft. She's RBC Capital Markets Global Head of Commodity Strategy, also a CNBC contributor. And what is the mood there, Helima? Is there a noticeable pall over what's been happening?
I mean, what I think is fascinating is even though we have this war raging in the Middle East, you still have all of these CEOs on stage in Riyadh. They have come, and I think that just speaks to the importance of the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund for their future plans. And so, again, it is concern in the air about this war, but these executives have decided that it's too big an opportunity to pass up.
You know, there's the opportunity of what their future business is. We had a lot of people who came on in the last week or so and said that it was important for them to continue to go to try and keep dialogue open with Saudi Arabia, especially in consideration what happens with the Saudi Arabia-Israel deal. Has there been much talk about that you've seen publicly?
I mean, I think there's been a lot of conversation in the corridors about the important role that Saudi Arabia will have to play in trying to find a resolution to this crisis, and also what potentially comes after this crisis in terms of, how do you think about Gaza going forward? And so I do think Saudi Arabia is seen as having an essential role in trying to provide some type of off-ramp and mediation efforts to try to bring a diplomatic solution to this crisis.
Helima, just to put a fine point on this, though, because I think there's a perception in the public that CEOs go to Saudi to have this open communication and this dialogue and the like. But the truth is, most of the people who are at this event are on the payroll of the Saudi government, which is to say the Saudi government and MBS is their client, right? So if you look at BlackRock, you look at JP Morgan, you look at Goldman, this is their client. If the various private equity funds that are there, Saudi Arabia is their limited partner. And so their reason for being there is, they may very well want to have an open dialogue, but that open dialogue there's money behind that open dialogue, right?
I mean, Andrew, I think, of course, look at, as you said, JP Morgan is here. Goldman Sachs is here. You have BlackRock here. Saudi Arabia is increasingly becoming an important business partner for these corporations. The PIF is looked on as a very important partner. Many places have retrenched in terms of hiring, but they continue to hire for their Middle Eastern offices. So, again, I think they are here because they see a tremendous business opportunity to be here. And even though there is this backdrop of this conflict, they still feel it's very important to show up. But again, that said, I do think at this moment right now, you talk to people here, you have representatives of media here, you have think tank people, university professors here. I do think it's an important moment to try to get a sense of how does this community feel about this crisis? Do they see a potential off-ramp? For example, do they believe that there is going to be a second front? Will Hezbollah become more actively involved in this conflict? What is the role of the U.S.? There are 2 U.S. carriers have been deployed to this region. More Marines are coming here. So I do think it's important to be here also to get a sense of how people who are deploying capital, how are they thinking about the potential escalation in this crisis? Or is there an off-ramp that we could see in the coming weeks?